Hi guys, how's everyone doing? Happy Thursday. I thought I would come on real quick and say hello and give you like an update of what went down today, what went on. Um, I'm still feeling a little bit out of it. Not really because of drugs or anything, because all they gave me at the hospital was the sedative required to get me through the procedure with a minimum of discomfort. I'm drinking a little guilty pleasure. Um, Actually, it's sort of a healthy treat when you're craving chocolate or something creamy and comforting. This is the Califia cold brew mocha almond milk with Arabica coffee. So it's iced coffee mocha with almond milk. It's not too high in sugar or carbs, but I just needed something tonight. So let's see if I can cohesively give you a rundown of the day without going off on too many tangents or getting overwhelmed or I don't know. I used to be a good storyteller, but now I'm just like whatever. Um, it's been a crazy day. It's been a busy day, and not just because of the procedure, for a lot of other reasons. But I just took off my lashes, by the way. I still have to wash my face. I still have lipstick on and eyeshadow. Wore nothing today, but I put this on later just to cheer myself up because I'm weird. Anyway, so this morning I woke up at 4:30 after having kind of a fitful night because I was worried about this. Um, if you don't know what a an angiogram is, what they also call aortal catheterization, I do like to say catheterization because it rolls off the tongue. Um, I got up at 4:30 to wait for a car service to get me at 5:30 to get me to the hospital at 6:30 to prep for the 8 o'clock procedure. Woke up, showered, ate nothing, took certain meds, but I couldn't take the metformin because it's bad for the kidneys during the procedure. Drank some water, but no coffee and no cigarettes. So I was like jonesing and headachy and nervous and just feeling a type of way. Got a call at 5 from the cab company near the hospital saying that the driver was on his way. So I was like, cool, I'll get there and it'll be fine. And so I'm sitting outside waiting, just kind of nervously, getting some fresh air, and no cab. Okay, so it's 5:30, no cab. 20 to 6, no cab. Quarter to 6, no cab. I called up the dispatcher, no answer. Called the driver, and he's like, "Oh, where are you? There's no house sign on your garage." And I'm like, "That's because I don't have a garage." And he had a very thick accent. I couldn't really understand him, and I'm trying to communicate with him. Um, this went on back and forth with me and him for about 20 minutes. And he acted like I was the one lost. I'm like, I'm sitting on my front steps, dude, waiting for you. You're lost. And then he's blaming it on the dispatcher. And then, wow, TV got really bright all of a sudden. Long story short, it was, let's see, what time did I finally decide to bag the whole idea of a car service? He was like an hour late. So it was 6:30 or 6:40, and I'm crying because I'm nervous and I don't feel like driving all the way there. Nervous. And so I called someone who came to get me, and he actually got me there at like, what time did I get there? 7:40 or something. It was late. But I was very upset, and they said, "No, we'll get you in. We'll get you in. We'll let the surgeon know, but he might have to take someone before you." And I said, "I don't mind. I need to get this done. I want to get it over with. I want to know what's going on with me, and it's such a pain to reschedule stuff." And um, so they were accommodating, but I was really pissed off at the driver, who by the way finally showed up in front of my door after telling me he was right in my neighborhood, but he was in the next town, and he didn't put the thing in right on his GPS, and he said that what did he say? That it doesn't come up on his phone. And I said, "That's not impossible. Please don't try to lie to me because that makes me feel like an idiot. Just admit you got lost." And I'm not spending $55 plus a big tip for that, inconvenience. So it was a weird morning. It was crazy. I was all nerved up, but my friend got me to the hospital and they registered me. They checked me in. I was instantly brought up to the pre-op room, the suite, which was huge and beautiful, if you can call a hospital room beautiful, very clean and shiny and cold, because hospitals are always cold to keep the germs down. And had a team of people there. They answered all my questions. They asked me a ton of questions. You know, you have to say your name and your birth date over and over and over and over when you're at a hospital. They went over the procedure. Two male nurses came in to like shave my groin area. That was fun. And to shave my wrist. The radial artery, this is where they go in right into the artery, not just a vein. But in case something goes wrong, because sometimes female arteries in the vein are narrower than a man's, they also prep the site at the groin area in case they have. Did I say area enough? I'm just going to spill it all out like it comes to my crazy addled brain. So I'm laying there trying to be comfortable. You know, I was naked except for the gown and a heated blanket over me, and I was nervous. Kept asking them how much it was going to hurt to have the catheter put in my wrist and stuff like that. And then the surgeon, the PA came in, and then the attending nurse, and then the anesthesiologist, and then the surgeon, and he was a cool guy. He was awesome. He actually did the same procedure on my ex-husband. He goes, "Oh, you know, well, they said you're in really good hands." He said, "Yeah." He said, I remember your husband, and I've done 3,000 of these in this hospital, and he's given lectures, and he's written books, and so he was awesome. Anyway, so I was calmed down, and they said they would give me something for my nerves. And then finally they wheeled me into the OR. Huge room. You feel like you're in like a gigantic intergalactic microwave oven. I've been in surgery before, so it's like I knew what to expect, but it's like even more modern now, you know. This is like a really good state-of-the-art hospital. So I was feeling pretty calm, but I was also nervous because it's just an unknown, you know. And just mentally knowing that a tiny camera and dye, you know, is being inserted, and this little straw thing is going all the way into your heart to take pictures and images. And so yeah, this was basically the worst part. It's still really sore. It really hurts. They numb the area first with a lidocaine shot, which goes in very deep. It numbs the entire wrist, the skin, the nerves, the muscles, the bone. Like the feeling has just returned like an hour ago to my wrist. But that was the part I was dreading, you know, and they have to kind of spread you out, and they actually tie you to the table. It's like, I don't mean to be sacrilegious, but it's like shaped like a cross. It's like a really narrow slab. And I'm thinking to myself, I'm fat. Like, what if you were really fat and you had to get up on this table? And I asked the nurses that too, and they just kind of like, they went like this, like, yeah, it's difficult with certain patients. And I'm big, you know what I mean? They weighed me in kilograms, and you're very slender when you're weighed in kilograms. And then I quickly got on my phone and I was like, how much is that in pounds? And I was like, oh my God. Haven't lost weight yet, guys, but I've only been dieting for a couple days. Holding steady at like 273. Maybe it was 271. I don't know. I was wearing like a jacket and shoes and a dress. I wore like a sundress today. So yeah, I was kind of like spread out. They tie you to the table. They tape you so that you can't move. They put your wrist and your arm in kind of like a splint, and then they just do all your vitals, and they're all talking to each other, and they're talking to the surgeon, and there's like a transcriptioner there who's doing like a blow by blow into a recording device. And I was doing okay. And then they inserted Vesid. I think that's what it's called. It sounds like Vesid. Anyway, Versid. It's Versid. They put that into my IV, which made me sleepy. Not high, and it wasn't even like the anesthesia they used when I got my endoscopy and colonoscopy. It was a little different. It's kind of like a very strong Xanax, basically. So I could still see on the big, enormous screen, enormous monitor, what was going on with my heart. And they said, well, you know, you can watch it or you can turn your head away. Some people get squeamish seeing the inside of their heart on like a 70-inch screen. But I like to watch, you know. Ooh, I like to watch. So I was kind of loopy, but I was just relaxed. But I was able to converse with the doctor, and he was telling me blow by blow everything that was going on. And he was just so kind. You know, my recent kidney stone experience was terrible. It was really bad. But this hospital experience was amazing, and I can't wait to fill out the survey for them. So, where was I? He went to go into, well, he put the lidocaine in my wrist, and it really did sting and burn. It stung and burned a lot. I won't lie. I'm not trying to scare anybody away from getting an angiogram, but like that was rough. But I kind of breathed through it, sort of counted, and he said, "Okay, it's almost done," and and then he threaded in the catheter, and I felt it going up my arm, and like my arm muscles started cramping, and I was like wincing, and he goes, "Are you all right? Are you just scared, or are you in pain?" And I said, "I'm still in pain." So he told the nurse to please put another like 2 cc's of Versed in my IV, and I would say the whole thing took, he took all the images, they put the dye in me, and it took maybe a half an hour, maybe 40 minutes. Kind of lose track of time when you're spacing out and dissociating a little bit due to stress and fear. Because, obviously what I'm afraid of is that they're going to find these gigantic blockages and I'm going to die young like my dad did. And I've damaged my heart and I've damaged my arteries. And oh my God, my years of being a fat ass and drinking and smoking, and I'm kind of like praying to God while I'm there. Like, please don't take me now and all this shit you go through. I shouldn't call it shit. It's all pretty normal, right? By the way, this is really good and I highly recommend it. Dairy free. It's just almond milk. It's got cocoa in it and coffee. Yeah, duh, it's mocha. It's really good. Anywho's, so the good news. He says, you don't have any coronary artery disease. You don't have blockages. I started crying. I'm like, I don't have to get stents today? Because that was another person they send in you have to sign these waivers of like you're acknowledging that someone told you all the bad things that can happen up to and including heart attack. They actually put the defibrillator paddles on you before they wheel you in. Stroke, death, heart attack, arrhythmias, AFib. They said if you're severely blocked and we can't even do a stent, you have to get open heart surgery, a bypass or whatever. And she's like, well, we don't crack your chest open here. You'd have to go to Lenox Hill in the city for that. And I'm just like, oh, Phenopoly. I've been in Lenox Hill Hospital, actually. I have a big bump on my head, you guys. It's kind of disturbing me. Like a really serious bump on the top of my head. I don't remember bumping my head. Maybe it's a reaction to my hair dye. I don't know. It feels kind of weird. I have a bump on my head. Yeah, I talked to you guys about my hair dye. I like it. It's not bad. So, I don't have coronary artery disease. As far as the pressure and the shortness of breath, that could be my thyroid. It could be menopause. It could be anxiety because we are in the age of coronavirus, and I'm an anxious person to begin with. The flip-flopping is what they call a soft murmur, mild mitral valve prolapse, but nothing he seemed concerned about. He said, follow up with your cardiologist in about a week. Then the fun began because, well, first of all, I had to find a ride back. And my son is working in Greenwich, Connecticut right now. He works for a landscaping company. And my ex drives a school bus, so he couldn't help me out. And so I relied on another friend I used to know. I just took a chance. And he picked me up. I know, I have a lot of male friends, right? I'm a slut. I'm not. I don't have any fun like people think I do. Where was I? So the hospital gives me the discharge papers, and it's like, you can't do this, you can't do that, you can't do this, you can't do that. You shouldn't drive a car for 3 days. You can't work for 7 days. Now, I had a CPR recertification class lined up. That's a mandatory thing with my job. Can't do that because I can't apply pressure. I can't do compressions on a dummy with this wrist. And my boss was kind of like upset that I couldn't go to work because we're like really slammed right now. We're so understaffed and it's crazy. That's why I work so many overnights. But once I said that I wasn't allowed to lift, when you use those magic words, you're not even allowed to go back to work. It's against company policies. It's against the hospital policies. It's against my cardiologist policies. Nobody wants to get sued because I'm pretending I don't know something. And then the thing is, if this pops due to stress, you bleed from your artery, which is really, really bad. If your artery starts, because it's not sewed up or anything, it's just a Band-Aid that's wrapped very tight right now. This is going to bother me now. Speaking of being a hypochondriac, maybe it's just like an inflamed area on my scalp and it's not a brain tumor protruding. Is anything on the other side? I don't know. My probation officer called right there while I'm in the hospital, and she was assigned to my case. On probation for the DUI for a year, and I hadn't heard from them since I went to court the last time, so I was like, oh, maybe they forgot about me. Yeah, right. She did not sound like a lot of fun. Not that they should be. They have to be tough, that's their job. Got to keep people accountable, So I said, I was like, I can't talk to you right now. I'm in the hospital. And she didn't say feel better or anything like that. She just said, call me as soon as you're home. So I did, but she had already left the office. So I got to call her back tomorrow. But so that was my experience getting an arterial catheter put in to look at my heart. My heart's fine. I still have to stay with my diabetes medication. I have to lose this weight. I have to not smoke. I need to start exercising. All these things I've always known, but at least I know now that there's no blockages. So I don't have the worry about that on top of like the anxiety I already have whenever my heart flip-flops or I feel a little breathlessness. At this weight, it's normal to feel breathless, That's why I feel so bad for really huge people because, all right, obviously they've done it to themselves, but if it's a product of addiction, I have sympathy and empathy for that. But when your body fat gets to a point where you're just always out of breath and you can't do anything, or fit into an MRI machine or a standard wheelchair, or that was another thing. When I got there, the elevators were broken. I was like, what else is going to happen today? So I walked the stairs up there, which I thought was ironic because I'm like, look, I'm out of breath. I need a heart doctor. So I can't work for a week and I don't get paid time off. So I'm going to be broke for a week. And the paycheck I got today was really light because I didn't work a lot the first 2 weeks of this month. But I'm not going to worry about that right now. I got the clean bill of health. I feel happy about that. I started crying while I was on the table and they said what was wrong. And I said, my father died in a hospital. He was 38 and he had severely occluded coronary arteries. And I just feel bad that in 1980 they didn't do balloon angiograms or balloon catheterization. If they did, and if he took his health more seriously, it could have saved his life. But he's in heaven right now, looking down on me, saying, you did it, kid, and keep staying stopped with drinking and smoking and lose some goddamn motherfucking weight. He never talked that way. That's just my inner voice. Yeah, and then it was just a matter of catching up with some friends and my daughter and my son and my boss and my aunt, who's an MD. She's a retired MD, so she wanted to know everything. And my daughter is a cardiac nurse, as I've mentioned before. So she actually called while I was there and spoke to the surgeon. And it's great. I'm like a little nerved up right now. I'm a little I'm happy, but I'm tired and got a lot to catch up on with the house because my cottage goes to shit really fast. Really fast. But I've got no excuse this week because I'm off. So it's like an unpaid vacation. And I'm going to nurse this baby and take really good care of it. I can't really get it wet. Or if I do, I have to kind of cover it with a plastic bag and just take a really fast shower. They're like, no swimming pools, no hot tubs, no jacuzzis, no regular bathtubs. I'm like, I don't have any of those things. I don't even own a bathtub. I have a little itty bitty shower stall. So yeah, thanks for listening, guys. I hope that wasn't boring. I mean, medical stuff is not exactly the daily gossip or talking about beauty products or hauls or I did catch up with some YouTubers today. I really like I say this all the time. I like watching Alex's Shook. His voice relaxes me. Um, YouTube Underground makes me giggle, and Shikara is awesome. And my newest favorite is Robin the Explorer. Check out Robin the Explorer. He's so just dry and funny and cute and unassuming and polite and in that British way, you know. I like Milk Tea Reacts. What else did I want to talk about? In front of me, I have a bunch of boxes from Amazon. They're fabric pleated blinds for my house. I got like 9 of them. They're really cheap. They were like $22 each. So I want to finally, I've been here 5 years, I'm going to finally put blinds up. And not just the mini blinds that always get dirty and gross and they break and crack and the cats are always breaking them. But that's about it. I think I did get, oh, I got a Halloween costume in the mail today. I got another Makeup Revolution inexpensive palette. I got these gloves that I'm going to wear with my costume for Halloween. And a skirt that's too small and I have to return it. And I really, really hate returning things for a bigger size. Like, I feel like that's just such a fatty thing to do. And I'm saying fatty because I'm calling myself that. You know, like, oh, well, if they make it in my size, I'll wear it. And I will. I like cute clothes. But, like, I just don't want to be in, like, a 3X. You know what I mean? And in some styles, in some brands, I'm a 3X, not a 2X. Although yesterday I did wear 2X, size 2 Torrid leggings, which was fun. Sorry, my voice is so raspy. That's it. I just kind of wanted to, you know, talk about this a little because I know I always refer to my health and these tests I have coming up and stuff, and then I don't really follow through with the follow through. So I'm fine. You know, my ticker is fine. My cardiologist says, you know, it's not like the best heart he's ever seen. I'm not a 21-year-old athlete, but he said you have like the normal middle-aged postmenopausal woman's heart with normal wear and tear. You know, a little bit of fluttering here and there, a little bit of not thickening, but what they call stiffening. And I said to the surgeon, well, what was the need then? If you're so surprised at my good results, why did my cardiologist, I don't like saying names, think that I even needed this angio? And he says, well, frankly, he said, sometimes we get false positives and false negatives on these tests, so we just like to rule everything out. He said, when you're a larger person with dense breast tissue and body fat, it actually, like, the fat casts shadows on your heart. So it shows up on an echo or on a stress test as an area that the oxygenated blood is not flowing back to enough. And maybe it is, maybe it isn't, but there's like shadowy areas because of density. They must have asked me my bra size and my weight 15,000 times, and I just wince, you know, talk about being held accountable, you know, actually saying your weight all the time. I'm doing it, guys. You know what I mean? Jesus Christ, I'm so sick of my own bullshit. I got to get down to like 200, you know, and I know that's still obese, and 220 is still obese, but I look better and feel better and move better and breathe better at like 220, and I want that to be the cutoff, you know. Whenever in the past I've started inching up towards 230, 240, I feel like it's just this whole other category of fat, and now that I'm in the 270s, I'm like, might as well be 300, might as well be 400, might as well be, you know, Life by Jen. And that's how it happens, actually. You know, you start giving up and you start just getting used to being fat and like buying bigger clothes, and it sneaks up on you slowly. Like, you don't realize you're not moving like you used to. You don't realize that, like, you're dreading trying on certain jeans or certain clothing that you know your rolls are going to show in. And no, I'm still too young and too cute, if I can say that. Too vain, I should say, to live that way, to live minimized by my own lack of self-control. So I ate really well today, you know, and this is my one treat, and I'm going to stay smoke-free. And let me put on my glasses to see where I'm at. 24 minutes. This might be my longest damn freaking video that wasn't like a rant. I'm going to end it for now, and thanks for listening and for tuning in and for watching my crazy channel. And again, my apologies to the smoke fetishists that recently subscribed because they like how I smoke. I like to smoke. I liked to smoke. I do think it's kind of sexy. I mean, it's, but it's a terrible habit. I mean, let's face it, it's deadly. It's like watching a mukbang and justifying it by saying like, well, we have to eat. I don't have to smoke. You know what I mean? I have to eat, but I don't have to eat mukbang style. Talk to you later. Peace out.